Hey, welcome back to the live stream here in San Diego. I'm Fitzgerald. I'm Tony Leonardo here. We've got a big men's pool play, final pool play match of the day today here between Washington D.C. Truck Stop, undefeated at 2-0, coming up against Chicago Machine at 1-1. Can't quite say it's a must-win game, but it's kind of close. It feels that way. Emmy, what do you think about this matchup here between number 2 and number 7 overall?
I mean, every game is important at Club Nationals, and the seeding doesn't really matter. What matters is the play on the field. Not every team has their full roster at all of the tournaments leading up to this. Machine certainly didn't, but Truck Stop's been taking care of business so far today. Machine had a loss to Atlanta Chain Lightning earlier, their first game.
Yeah, and hard to say whether that is an indication of Machine's sort of like discombobulated season, would be the best way to put it. As you've said, a lot of pieces in and out for this Chicago Machine team. They haven't had the same roster for basically every tournament, any tournament they've played. It's been different all around the board. They only had 13 at Colorado Cup. Here at Truck Stop, I misspoke. Not the 2 seed, the overall number 3 seed. A little surprising to some folks who thought they might have dropped down a little further after a disappointing Pro Champs where they dropped some games, specifically also to this Machine team, I believe, and a couple losses to Pony. We'll look here at the pool standings. Sockeye escapes dig on Universe Point. They will take Pool A. Pony and Sub-Zero battling again this round right now. Across the way, we'll hear updates from Aaron on that one in Pool B. Here is Truck Stop sitting pretty at 2-0, take care of business here, and they're moving on with the bye. Ring of Fire, Revolver switched places, and now the battle 4-5 between those two determine the winner of Pool D.
Double wide, almost upsetting Revolver after they upset Ring of Fire, but couldn't quite hang on. And it's just really exciting across the board. I'm so glad Erin is going to cover Pony versus Sub-Zero, being that she's also from the Twin Cities area. But one notable addition for the team in the red jerseys, he's not on the field quite yet, but Kurt Gibson is competing.
Kurt Gibson coming back. Of course, he has been with the team this season, but has only played at regionals. And they say he did great. It was fine. He is a ball control guy. He's going to want that disc. And in his absence, really, I think we've seen the blossoming of the young Joe White, college national champion with Carlton Cut a few years ago, played with High Five. That team disbanded this season. He's come over to join Chicago. They kind of have a loaded roster. If you look at it on paper, it's about time for them to put it all together here now on their stiffest date to test. And there's a layout block to start the game from Truck Stop.
Right away, you chant first throw, no first throw, and it didn't happen.
And it's converted for a goal right off the bat. David Bloodgood got that block.
Amazing.
Truck Stop shows why they are so fierce, and that's the kind of tempo they're going to want to set all game. Chicago's got to regroup already to start the game here, down 1-0.
And that is all hustle right there, right? It's a pull, first throw, and boom. That changes your momentum completely for the game. And it was something that Andy Nielsen, the Chicago Machine head coach, was talking about their loss this morning. Hey, we got to play like this is nationals. And hustle like that from Truck, that is playing like you are at nationals.
It's a wake-up call. This is the Truck team I saw at U.S. Open when they beat Ring of Fire. They were just on top of everything. And that kind of speed and kind of, focus really was there. But however, I want to say that seeing Truck later on in the season really drop those games at Pro Champs.
Right.
And so when I talked to Coach Daryl Stanley about that, he said that we kind of got exposed. We were more dialed in the early season than some of our opponents. And once we got to Pro Champs, it was a little bit of a different story. But now it looks like they're dialed back in again, so this could be a good game for Truck Stop.
First point, there's a lot you got to see, but this is definitely the time you want to peak.
Pavel Jonas with the disc, swings it off to Yiding Hao. Upline to Joe White. White with the disc looking downfield. He's got his man. He's going to fire it. Should be a goal if it's there in time, and it is. Skied and caught. And that is a quick hold for Chicago Machine. Number 19 with the goal. Time to get these rosters dialed in here.
So Machine really not wasting any time on their second offensive point, looking straight for the end zone. And, you were just talking about the contribution that Joe White has been for this Machine team. And I mean, that's case in point right there.
He looked really smooth going down and getting that disc that was clearly behind him. Really kept us focused. The length of White makes the difference. Now, Joe White, of course, known for his play on U24 as well, won gold with the mixed team in Heidelberg this year, won gold in Perth in 2018 with the men's team. And you see him giving a shake with Nikki Spiva right now for a truck stop. Nikki Spiva had been on some of those world's teams as well. Love to hear what the conversation is there, yeah.
I love seeing Nikki's visor just cascading throughout the truck stop team through the years as well.
Well, he and his visor took the AMP team to victory last year, and they're missing him this year.
They are.
They sure could use that visor, and the man behind it. So coming in here now to truck stop, and the Walden Nelson down on D quickly for Machine forces a different throw. They want to shut down this man. Coach Nielsen and some of the coaching staff told me earlier they want to shut down Nathan Pryor, and we'll see if that can be successful as he gets it up to, I think, Cochran, and McDonald springs deep. Rowan wants the disc, but they won't find him. Back to Pryor, and looking for Wodach through the middle. Wodach serving, has Rowan, he'll put it. Not known as a throw, but Rowan as a receiver can't get there. Bansfield makes just enough of a D there to distract Rowan McDonald and maybe even fingertip the disc away.
And Bansfield just had such great positioning on that D. The throw, admittedly, would be a very difficult throw to read, but when you're Rowan McDonald, you give him a little bit more, and then he's out there making highlight plays.
Yeah, Rowan can get that disc. Wodach's not known as a thrower, and you can see that slice a little too much. And now the defensive line for Chicago will try to work this one up. And they get it right there to Goff, the big man, and he slings it back to Bansfield, looking for Nelson, but no, slings it upfield instead. And that's Sam Canner. Canner will fake, and he's looking to drop it back. He's going to have to put this one. He sends it deep. He's got a receiver, and he's up, and it's a catch. Peter Graffey, the transfer coming over from Madison, rises up over Wodach and collects the goal. That is a break for Chicago. They are back on serve here.
And Graffey signaled with his hand, hey, hit me, hit me. A little bit of a desperation high stall count, but what a grab. I mean, good positioning from Wodach, but Graffey just took care of business.
Yeah, count was getting up high here for Canner. Has to put it. And Graffey, a known receiver. You've seen him in a lot of games, I think, over the years. We all have. And Graffey there, another visor wearer, makes the play.
I will say I'm wearing a hat right now, but in defense of the visor, it's great, and volleyball players wear it too, because you can tilt it higher up than you can with the hat, so you don't have to do the mid, deep.
Throw the hat.
Yes, throw the hat toss, and whatever. It's a smart move.
So we see an interesting line here for truck stop as Chicago Machine here about ready to pull. And here's the truck stop lineup. We see David Cranston, one of their D stars out there. We see Troy Holland at number 91. This is their D line. Nate Castine is out there. So Daryl Stanley right away going to put his D line on offense after the O cannot convert. So maybe a message sent. Bloodgood with the disc. Up to Holland. Sneaky pass, finds his man.
And Truck plays very consistent. 2 D lines, 1 O line in a pretty strict rotation. So that just shows all the trust that he has in the entirety of the roster.
Shields up to Castine. Back to Bloodgood. Bloodgood surveying, wants Holland. Drops it back to Shields. It's got to fake. It's got to go quick, and it's D'd up, and it's a foul. Tight. I think he was faking it, but the count was getting high. He kind of got bailed out by the defender.
He did. I think he was trying to pass it up line, knew it wasn't there, and then got fouled.
Up to Holland. Holland looking for Castine. Back to Shields. So this is a really kind of standard offense running that they're doing here. Nothing too fancy, and that's kind of what your D-line is going to do. And maybe that's why Stanley wanted them out here. But Castine gets a little fancy as he dips down low for the break I-O to Troy Holland up the line.
And you really credit a D-line. D-lines are known to get the turn and then, oh my gosh, please convert, right? Please convert. I mean, that was just textbook patient offense, looking for those inside lanes, swinging it around, getting it off the sideline. I mean, I think many O-lines could really take a look at what they did there.
It's kind of a cool change of pace. It's almost like throwing a curveball out there. Not a lot of throwers, like big-time huckers on that line. I don't know how much, so Machine, what they could have done is really clamp down on the resets, and they kind of tried to on Shields, but they got that bailout foul, and that might have made the difference for that point.
You're right. They were close. Machine was playing very, very tight reset defense and nearly either got a stall or a hand block in the middle of the field, and that's just the margin of difference that it makes when you're at this level of tournament.
And the D-line will stay out there, right? Kind of makes sense. They brought in Rico, Del Rico Johnson. You'll see over there. Cranston stays out there, number 5. Actually, no, they switch it up. Nicky Spiva's out there on the D-line. Yep. So your best D-line handler was not on that O point.
Not wild.
Nicky Spiva. Spiva, of course, a Team USA World Games champion. A lot of those over here on the Chicago team. Let's turn now to the men in red as they get it up to this man, Pavel Jonas. Of course, known for his versatility in throws. He's kind of got it all. Up to Joe White. The pass from Evangelides, the Chicago area native. White centers it back to Evangelides. Sidesteps away from his defender. White goes deep. Haven't seen Gibson out here yet. And the reset there from Kyle Rutledge over to Jack Shanahan. They have 13 new players on this Chicago Machine, Emmy, from last year's team.
With other teams dissolving, that really spread out the wealth. Medicine Men dissolving.
You're thinking Mad Cow, but it was High Five.
Yes, High Five. That's exactly what I was dissolving. So that
Mad
brings
Cow
players.
might have as well, actually, come to think of it.
I think they did.
So that's Pavel Jonas to Keegan North. Keegan North, one of those players who came over from that High Five dissolution. They're another youngster, another Team USA player. A lot of them out there. We should see them all game.
So it's very exciting, and I mean, it's interesting that Machine really working the unders the entire length of the field. I'm curious to know if that was part of Truck's game plan on defense.
Force them to the unders?
Is to force that to the unders and then try and see if you can narrow those margins.
Mm-hmm. Or sort of crack sort of the, if they don't know where the cutting lanes are because they're sort of new to each other playing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we see Sam Canner, the veteran, played Sockeye, Carlton. He was on the Junior World Team 2006.
I was going to say, it wasn't recently whenever he was on Junior Worlds. That's what I love, though. I think it's just amazing. I talked to Jay Frood on Double Wide, and I know he's not on this field, but he said him making the U23s several years ago, that completely changed Ultimate for him. Mm-hmm. He was a new player, completely changed the game. So if you're at home and you're thinking about applying for tryouts, just go do it. Just apply to tryout. You never know.
Malcolm Schaffner, first time on the field. Surveys, he's got a cannon. The Ginger Cannon, we've called him. Back to Pryor. And I don't know who that is on the far sideline, but McDonald comes back for the pass. He fakes it deep to Schaffner, looking for Lloyd Blake, and or Christian Boxley finds Blake. Oh, tipped. Nice job there, but Schaffner to pick up the tip disc.
Really good read on that trash.
It's Ted Seither in the backfield for Schaffner. Count's getting up. He's going to bomb this to Blake. There it is. He's got two down there. Boxley and Blake. Boxley will make it up. Is there a call here? That seemed to be a long delay.
Looks like they got the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, when in doubt, Markham is going to throw that flick huck.
I'm just surprised that no one on Chicago got over to that. Like he was going to bomb it, right?
Yes.
got down real low for that. I think he just outthrew the defense.
Yes.
Honestly.
And you could see 2 defenders trying to catch up, but
Sorry, that was Pryor. It looks like it caught it now, Boxley.
yeah, Markham Schaffner just, I think, one of the most fun power position. But he wasn't even really in power position at that point. It was just a deep lunge, basically.
Yeah, he was at a dead standstill on like a 7 or 8 or 9 count, and just muscled that one into the end zone, basically, and torque, right? Like body torque. So he got down that low center of gravity, allowed him to get that release off in that distance.
So, pretty close game.
Yeah,
so
well,
far.
Machines recovered from that opening, like almost sort of that, I want to say Callahan, but it wasn't a Callahan, obviously, but they've recovered well
right,
from that
base almost.
to stay on serve. There's the pull from Delrico Johnson, one of the premier defenders in the game, and Keegan North will center it. And they're looking for, looks like Arders deep. Keegan North fakes it instead. Pavel Jonas behind him. Up to Arders. Arders looking for Joe White, no. Drops it back down under, and the D from Rico, not in time. And that is Shanahan with the disc 94 back to Jonas. Pavel up to Keegan North. North will find no one.
And that was a very strong backhand force to the far side of the field, and that just created smaller and smaller windows for Machine to be able to work through, and at some point, can't make the connection.
You're right, they got it off the sideline to Pavel Jonas, and he went back to that sideline again. And we see a pick call here, so this ought to come back. Disc right now in Troy Holland's hand. Kristen Johnson, David Shields, David Cranston, Nate Castine, Delrico Johnson with the disc, and David Bloodgood right there now with the disc for the D-line of Truck Stop. Up to Holland. Great young player for this team. On to Christian Johnson. We saw him win with Revolver. To Castine, the Seattle native, which means that he's been playing since he was like 12.
Right. There are so many just extremely young players in the Seattle area that make incredibly good ultimate players.
And we see a call here. So if this call is upheld, it will come back. If not, it will be a goal. It looks like a pick call between Joe White and Nate Castine. And they're going to talk about it and send it back. Yeah, Nate Castine's been at it for a long time. He might have won some of those YCC tournaments with Seattle back in the day, and now he finds Troy Holland no problem with the kicks back. That's a break for Truck Stop.
And their conversion offense was just so efficient, and it seemed like they kept Machine on their heels the entire way working down the field. The pick stopping it, but there was really no stopping them once that momentum started going.
Let's check in across the division and the pools going on in some other areas. We got Aaron Maraca on the roving camera. Aaron, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks Tony and Emmy. Well, I'm over here with the Sub-Zero pony game. Really quick out for Sub-Zero, who went up 2-0. Notable because a huck shot to Benyat was well defended by his former college teammate, Josh Couts from University of Minnesota Grey Duck. But of course, Pony, not one to be deterred, answered back 2 straight points, including a pretty huge Mickle Sky over Kevin Pettit-Scanling. Also, a number of other games going on over here, all close within 2. Goat over Chain Lightning, 4-2. Pittsburgh, Temper, and Bravo still tied. But most of these lower seeds have struck first so far over here, which is quite interesting and will be fun for me to keep track of. Back to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Wow, okay, well, pretty exciting action there. We did kind of surmise that Pony and Sub-Zero would be a pretty good game. Pony, the 2 seed, Sub-Zero, the 7 seed. Both teams sitting at 2-0. And we'll see where that game lands. Thank you, Aaron. Back here to Pavel Janis. And this kind of a poachy look on defense from Truck Stop now, as they just have some defenders hanging out in the lanes. And Truck Stop will have to figure out where the openings are. They've got Joe White wide open. Now he's got the disc. Staying in this zone is Truck Stop. Spiva trying to find his person. Gibson on the field here for the first time, that I've seen at least.
I think this is his third or so point.
Yeah, he was on a D point earlier. And through the middle, that is found by Kyle Rutledge, the Northwestern graduate. To Evangelides on a nice crafty throw there. He's got that quick release lefty to a cutting Kurt Gibson to the front cone. Nice look there from Alex Evangelides.
Kurt had such great footwork that entire point. Even as soon as Machine cut through that zone, Kurt is one-on-one with his defender and had to do a lot of chopping steps to get open. Then he doesn't get it at first when they're in the red zone and does some other just kind of juke and jives. Clearly has done plenty of ladder drills in his career. And Evangelides knows if I put it, he'll be there.
Yep. Yeah, I was on a stall count of 1.
Right.
Alex is like, okay, we're going to the left over this on this one. We offhand dish it up to Mr. Gibson. Now, this is an odd year, right? So.
Oh, right.
Does Kurt win in the odd years or the even years?
He wins in the even years. He won 2012, 2014,
2016.
He won in 2016.
With 3 different teams.
He did not win, though, in 2018.
Last year, yeah, they lost a close one to Pony in quarters.
Yes, exactly. So next year will be his year.
So we can write them off right now, basically. Sorry, Chicago.
But you know what? If he broke tradition last year, what's not to say he won't break tradition this year?
Good point. Nathan Pryor will receive this one and center it up quickly. And that is Versteeg. So they're really using everyone as Truck Stop. Haven't seen a consistent O-line from them yet. And we saw their D-line take the field for an O-point and do quite well.
Oh.
Pryor thought could have gotten to that disc. I don't know. I mean, it looked like
I thought he
looked
like he was about to leave his feet, and then maybe it was just a little too far out of reach. It's unusual. But kind of same song, second verse. This is with Machine this time.
Ross Barker suffered a separated shoulder at Pro Champs with that scuba that did not complete. Odach now has a second chance for Truck Stop. Versteeg up to, Versteeg faking it now. That was Tyler Monroe, number 10. Back to Pryor. Monroe trying to find someone. There's 2 people guarding Boxley, so someone's open. How do they find him? And Pryor goes down. One of the focuses, again, is trying to stop Pryor from getting the resets, although that's not the way to stop him. That's fouling.
That's probably not what they meant by stopping him, but you want to have tight defense. Can't fault anybody for that.
Versteeg and Pryor working it, and they find Schaffner in the end zone. So switching the field side, they rotate it over and get the open man.
And that makes it so difficult to defend when you're having to recover from pass after pass to that far side of the field. And Machine kind of knew by the second throw, like, okay, we're out of position.
Machine founded in 2001. In 2000, they were called just Chicago Ultimate. Now they came out of a tradition of, that kind of happens sometimes in teams, right?
Yes.
They actually wanted to, so they had this is kind of funny, the team name before that was called Second Wind.
Oh, like the Windy City?
Yeah, it was a referral to Windy City.
Okay.
But in Windy City won Nationals a number of times and was in the running a lot of other times. So it was a throwback to that.
Like paying homage to them, but they want their own identity.
Well, not only that, but a lot of people just thought it was a weird Masters name.
That's a great Masters name.
Second Wind.
Like Johnny Molly Gray. I can't
believe. Right. Rest stop
Johnny
instead
Encore.
Of truck stop.
That right. Exactly. I-Rot. One of my personal favorites.
So they we don't want to do Second Wind anymore. Let's change the team entirely.
I love it.
It's a short story.
And I like it. Machine, and it has the CHI.
Here's another good one for you. All right, so What other team has the machine? This could be our trivia question.
Yes.
What? All right, you can text at us. This is a really easy one. Yeah, you want to tweet us. Tweet us. Joe White with the disc here, looking for Arders. Instead slings it to, man, we haven't called, but he's been out there the whole time. Zane Rankin coming over from Sakai. Howe gets down for it. Howe to Evangelides. Big up fake, has wide open Keegan North. North looking for Jonas, can't find him, but does find Mr. Zane Rankin. Rankin collects a goal, that's what he's good at. Zane Rankin with the goal and a hold for Chicago.
I love the extension from the throws. There was just such great step out and control where the previous point we saw some turnovers on that far side. So seeing the adjustments that Machine was making to really step out and multiple players having those clean throws into, again, very tight spaces made a huge difference. Okay, what's our trivia question, Tony?
Trivia question is, what other team has the name Machine?
All right.
Oh,
Let us
know this one, Emmy?
on the Twitterverse.
This is really easy, actually. Like, it's going to be like it's like a speed dial thing. Like, who can dial it up quick enough?
Yes, exactly.
All right, we're watching out. Because then there's a story that follows that that's like awesome. And no one's got it yet. Okay, we'll wait a little bit.
If you're putting it on Facebook, we can't really see it. So if you could tweet at us, my handle is @EmmyFitz. And Tony, say yours.
Leo Basque. So all on serve here. Emmy, I've seen this before. When teams get that first enthusiastic, insane break, and you think that, like, wow, this could be a real long game. And then all of a sudden it's like on serve, like a couple points later, and the team that got broken to start the game, looks like it was going to be little curtains for them. It's just right in it the whole way. I've definitely seen that before, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it again.
I received an answer over Slack.
Okay.
Yes. They said Rutgers.
Rutgers, exactly. And and I just got an answer too.
That was
Tad Whistle?
And Ryan, I've got to shout out Ryan LaValle. I heard it first from him. Tad tuning in. Love it.
You win. Tad and who won Slack?
And my friend Lavs, Ryan LaValle.
Okay, it's a tie.
Okay.
So the funny thing is, though, in 2007, so they knew Rutgers already had that name. In 2007, Rutgers said, all right, we want our name back. And Chicago Machine, led by Brody Felchley at the time, the Carleton player. Nice bid there from Sam Canner, another Carleton player. Felchley said, well, you know what? Let's play for the name. And this is before Rutgers was going to nationals again. So there's a college team versus an elite level club team going to nationals.
Who will win?
Yeah, end of story.
I would love that. Send the Fields. Can you make that happen
exactly.
again?
Tad, you tweeted on this, so now you're going to have to organize Machine versus Machine.
I had so much fun watching he and Pat, who's also on the sideline here live.
And can you tell if he's sober?
Nationals.
Sober's not the right word. Pat is so smart. He's just like a real.
They're both smart.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh after I say that.
You should. Okay. Odach fakes. And the swing to Pryor. Pryor looking for his man Wodach, finds him. And Ted Sither in the background there.
Just some small ball to get it done.
It's been nothing but small ball.
And you think of the athletes and the cannons that are on this truck team, but they can also really work it well in the short game. They've had to do that a couple times so far.
Let's check in with this break here after that point and see what Aaron's got dialed up for us. Aaron Moraka, still with us? All right.
Yeah, I'm over here on the men's division fields, and they're all really close games right now. Got a couple 4-4 ties or 4-3 moments, and everybody is hyped up and ready to play. But I am excited because I got to catch up with the Sockeye coach, Mike Caldwell, to talk to him a little bit about that dig game. Of course, all kinds of ramifications happening. Obviously, the loser of the Sub-Zero Pony game is going to play a pre-quarter against, I think, the winner of your team, your live stream right now, but I think we can check the bracket on that. Basically, just asked Mike a couple questions about that tight game with Dig, and he referred to the dig end zone defense as being really stellar. It stopped a bunch of their defensive break opportunities, but really they ended up using a zone against Sockeye, which I guess is what they used to upset Pony in the regional final. And it took Sockeye to learn how to figure out how to get through that zone. They were able to rally and get a few breaks back in order to take it on Universe. But Coach Malik Caldwell not really placing bets on any of these games, knows it's going to be a hard road no matter what, but wanted to go pedal to the metal in order to get this bye round right now so they could take care of themselves and get the advantage of rest. So I thought that would be interesting for viewers at home. But looks like you've got a game going on too, all tight and tied up, huh?
Yeah, we've got a good one here. Kurt Gibson, and this is going up now to Zane Rankin, a former Sockeye player. The defense is there for truck stop, but he can't find the disc in the air in time, and Keegan North will get the reception, drop it back to Joe White. White looking for Paul Giannis. Back to White. Got Evangelides. Can't find him. Reset. Easy up to Kurt Gibson. There it is.
That is the second score that Kurt Gibson has had in the same spot for this Machine team. He just does what he does. But also, let's talk a little bit about Keegan North and his catch right there. The defender was caught off guard a little bit, but he just had straight kangaroo springs just right up in the air, like his legs were on a pogo stick, and can continue on for Machine to really capitalize and tie it up.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Keegan North gets up fast and quick. He's kind of got that soccer player build, but he's got the ups of, I'm not going to say a basketball player necessarily, but
or even
maybe
a high jumper. You really look at that, and they call it spring loading your legs when you're doing an approach like that, and a huge difference.
Keegan Northark, I think he's out of the Cincinnati scene. Some great action out of there. They had some youth teams that did very well. Another player on Team USA, U24 team, of course, and a great addition to this roster from that dissolution of High Five. So I'm mispronouncing Gus Norbaum's name, number 52, says William and Mary. And Rutgers Machine appreciates the airtime.
You're welcome.
Rutgers also tuning in, and you let us know when you're ready for that Machine game for the rights to the name.
Right.
Prior up to
They
Schaffner.
said, I said, let's make it happen again. They tweeted me and they said, not so sure. I get it. Oh, and someone else on Twitter said her dad does play for a great Grandmasters team called Second Wind. It exists. Thank you for letting us know.
McDonald sends us one. Bansfield is there. Sorry, Jesse White. And he gets that D. Unbelievable D there from Jesse White, one of the veterans on this team. He had to go up high.
Jesse White just in such good position as well.
Over Joe Freund.
I mean, that is a tough matchup.
Joe Freund's got him. It's a big boy. And now let's see if Machine can convert. Be their second break of the half. Vaughn Alagilan, Defensive Player of the Year last year, to Jesse White. Up to Sam Canner. Canner centers it up. And now they're moving quick. That's Seth Weaver with the disc. Another one of the young players to look out for. Canner, the veteran. Gibson wants the disc. It's going up to Weaver instead. That's a goal. It's a break unless this is a call on Gibson. Whether Pryor was in the way. Let's take a pause on this and see where we're at.
Yeah, it looked like Gibson, whether intentional or not, was maybe double teamed.
It's a goal.
Okay, it is a goal. Let's take another look.
Oh, yeah, kind of Gibson ran into, Pryor's got to give way there, and it wasn't even in the play. This is the right call to make. But what an enthusiastic break for Chicago Machine. Emmy, you lose your first game at Nationals. You get upset by the 15 seed. You know you've got the guns to compete with anyone. And we see it. I think this is going to be a timeout here from Truck Stop as the ecstatic Chicago team will also gather up here. Does it feel, and then you survive this, opening point block. Does it feel like this could be like the loss, like AMP last year, the loss that propelled them to the championship?
If you're going to lose at Nationals, you need to lose early. That seems like an obvious statement because the next few days are elimination brackets, but you drop your first game. Okay, not ideal. However, there's still a chance, right?
There's a lot of chances.
There are many chances to still get. It's a harder path, but you can still get in. But we kind of talked about it too. Machine did not have the hardest road at regionals either. So maybe a little bit of this was a wake-up call of like, okay, let's go back to how we've played earlier in the season. We know how to do this, and it's fuel for the fire. You'd rather that than the opposite of teams just cruising through, and then you find some difficulty and adversity later on in the tournament, and you're not prepared for it.
Absolutely. I just think everything you said just makes a lot of sense. It's like, you know, we've lost, we've suffered, and we're still here.
Exactly.
And we're alive, and you know what? We don't even have to win this game. They're still in it. But let's go win this game. Let's go win the pool.
Just like do the thing, and, you know, I don't think Truck is making it easy at all. But it's really making for some exciting ultimate. Okay, Rutgers update. They said Rutgers alumni versus current Chicago Machine for rights to the name. That sounds a little more interesting.
So, Emmy, one of the founders of Chicago Machine says hi. Do you know who that is?
Luke Johnson.
What? No, try again. He's standing right to my left.
Oh, Adam Goff.
There you go.
Oh, that's right. Adam and I live very close to each other in Dallas, and he's been on this live stream as well. Luke also says hi. I mean, we couldn't go through a Machine game without giving some credit to our producer, Luke Johnson.
You're the Chicago native? I know we went to Northark. That's all I know.
Yes.
Luke's got to tell. He's not going to tell us, is he? All right. Oh, 2 years on Machine. Okay, for Luke Johnson. Okay, Schaffner with the disc now. Let's see what they can do on offense. Truck stop. As the sideline calls shooter with Schaffner with the disc.
Ain't that the truth?
Back to Pryor. Haven't seen a lot of Rowan McDonald this game. A little surprising. Wodach left open by Gibson. Wodach centers it, finds Gus Norbaum to Freund. Again, the lines are all over the place for truck stop. Norbaum. Wodach open, wide open, Schaffner, and that's just good movement.
Great movement and really interesting switches from Machine that creates non-traditional throwing lanes from what you would think from an offensive set, but I just love that inside backhand for the assist to get that goal. Schaffner knew where he was going, but you just have so much more control with that inside-out backhand rather than even if you took that flick around.
Last year, this team, Chicago Machine, we're looking at Markham Schaffner, of course, their millionaire Markham.
He's like, oh, shucks, palm to the camera.
Another timeout. There's a timeout from Machine. They'll take their second. So Coach Andy Nielsen, maybe we'll get a look at him in the blue sun hoodie.
Yes. We're tied at sevens.
Yeah.
This is the term, my European friends, I'm sorry, I don't love it, the whole galaxy point thing. I don't love it.
You know, it's okay. It has its, I guess, and we're in the Milky Way galaxy, so it's
we
like
are.
a Milky Way point?
It's the Milky Way point, the point for the Milky Way versus the point for the entire universe. But it's just one game, right?
And
like
just a half. I mean, Galaxy's a little big for just half.
To be real, I'm not the biggest fan of universe point either.
Double
Changed my
game
mind.
point.
Right, double game point, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're not battling for the universe.
Yeah. I mean, no, we're not.
Hopefully you'll get to play another game.
like
That's
it,
the
though.
beauty of the sport. I know, it gives the drama. Feel free to disagree. You know, that's where I'm at.
Chicago sitting on a chance here to win the half. We'll look at some stats now and see the break chances there.
Look at the completions for both teams. I mean, that's just stunning.
You know, I've seen this with these DC teams. Well, first of all, when that deep line came out for truck stop, you know, a lot of passes. And then when you have Pryor back, and he's been the one consistent player we've seen on O for truck stop, is a lot of passes. He doesn't look downfield too often. Very excellent player. Great footwork, great positioning, always gets in the right place. Seems to make very few mistakes Very reliable man, but doesn't have those big throws. And it's clearly something that Coach Stanley must have dialed up or sort of told his team, like, okay, let's conservative play this game. Let's small ball this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's really reflective in the stats. I just love that addition to our broadcasts. I hope you do too. Let USA Ultimate know in the comments if you do.
Pavel Giannis, so I've been mispronouncing Giannis with the disc, number 55. Kurt Gibson is his upfield center. Evangelides up to the left of your screen as they come down in kind of a isolation hoe that splinters to a side stack, and now it's just kind of a jumble. Giannis to Evangelides. Those two will be around often. Back to Giannis. This will go up deep. A chance here for Machine. That's Evangelides, but it's D'd up easily. Spiked out of the sky by Christian Johnson, not to be tested.
I mean, that was 3-on-1, white shirts to red. It would have been the craziest miracle if he had been able to get that.
Yeah,
Evangelides, but
a little too greedy from Chicago. And now truck stop with a chance to break for half. And this hangs up high, but Christian Johnson will come down with it. Gives up to David Shields. Shields to Cranston. Cranston's got Del Rico, but drops it back to Shields. Shields wants Nicky Spiva and finds him. Spiva now has an open Cranston downfield, but slips. A lot of slippage going on here. And veteran observer Mitch Dingler will walk over. There's no call. We'll just make sure everyone's all right. Pause the game. Give them a high five.
You hate that,
Milky
right?
Way bar.
Spiva had a really great backhand look.
With Cranston with, the step. Yeah, but then again, he's got to step on Joe White. So maybe that step isn't as big of a step as might be on another player. Christian Johnson, however, springs up and downfield, but drops it back to McDonald. Rowan McDonald surveying, trying to find David Shields. Finds him. Shields over to Bloodgood. Bloodgood looking. Del Rico sets up a deep look. Not there. Slings it through the middle, and nice pick up there from Cranston. One of the captains on this team. To McDonald. McDonald looking to Spiva. And that's a timeout call from Nicky Spiva.
And you can see David Bloodgood was cutting to the break side underneath. As soon as Spiva took the timeout, he's like, come on, man, I was open. We've all been there, but I think that was the right call. That's a wise move with what's at stake.
There was like 7, 8, 9 passes. You could see they were starting to get a little bit tired. They're working pretty hard for those cuts. Everyone was rotating out of the deep spot and coming back in. That's a lot of leg work. It's for half, call the timeout, absolutely.
And if you have it, too, your timeout's reset in the second half, so why not burn it if you've got it?
And you see the Irish jig being danced by millionaire Markham Schaffner and crew.
Love it. You got to stay loose.
I'm surprised Truck Stop stayed with these. So these jerseys they told me that they wore for the YCC, for U.S. Open.
I remember those, yep.
With the youth teams.
Yes.
And they told me that they wore them so that the kids could appreciate it because they have the little kids truck on there.
Vroom, vroom. That's what it says on the side.
Yep, vroom, vroom. And
it's precious.
It's not your elite level ultimate team style.
It's so ultimate, though, right? That is hashtag live ultimate right there. Yep, you have a nice look. I wonder if you can row. Yes, there's the vroom, vroom.
And look at the hand drawn, like a crayon drawing. Yep.
It's just so precious.
Spiva checks it in, drops it to Bloodgood. Bloodgood surveys up to Johnson, Christian Johnson. Looking around. Spiva's open. Oh, no, it's down. Cranston fell down. And then Spiva, already in the position to release it, sends it, and Cranston tries to get up to it and cannot, and it's a turn for Truck Stop. Kurt Gibson will pick up the disc. We've seen this script before. Gibson looking for Giannis. Pavel Giannis has it. Del Rico Johnson lurking on D. Up the middle to Zane Rankin. Rankin will send it to Gibson, who makes an acrobatic catch behind him. Shooter call from the sideline. Zane Rankin now, the D player that we're used to from Seattle with the disc. Giannis is a shooter. Joe White almost tried to bust it deep, but could not find him. Giannis has to reset instead to Zane Rankin. They're trying to keep them on the sideline. That's been effective for truck stop. Up to Giannis. Shooter call again. Joe White goes down. We'll have a little break in the action. Evangelides is in front of him. Paul Arters off to the side. Kyle Rutledge, number 12, is on the field as well, a star out of Northwestern. Giannis will look for Arters, and there's a call, and we'll send this back. He's picking the stack, so we're going to stay right here with Arters. Joe White. Gibson coming back to the disc. White fakes the scuba.
You never know.
These two, White and Gibson. Gibson being very conservative this game. How long can it last? Rankin almost got crushed by McDonald coming back to his man, Pablo Giannis.
Good body control from McDonald to get out of the way. Oh, another slip.
Yeah, this whole area all day today, this side of the field, I don't know why. Gibson to Joe White, knocking on the doorstep. White hangs it for Arters. There's the half for Chicago Machine, and a gritty, gutsy point. Both teams put a lot into it, but Chicago comes away with the half.
It's that patience in the red zone. Truck stop was close to getting the break to take half on the other side of the field. But after some back and forth, a timeout called. And just out of reach for Truck. But you talked about Kurt keeping it calm and just continuing with Joe White, and now Machine takes half.
Pretty exciting. Emmy, you want to go down and grab someone?
I will be right back.
All right, we're going to send Amy down. She's got the microphone. Maybe Daryl or anyone you want. That one right there should be on. It's exciting business here live, Ultimate, as we look at the huddle for Chicago Machine. Again, we've talked about it a lot. There's a lot of U24 players, U20 players. Coach Andy Nielsen is one of the coaches and assistant coaches, has been in the past for the youth scene, Team USA U20. So he's pretty good at knowing the scene out there. I'd love to see what Truck Stop has in mind to do in the second half. So when we've got Emmy ready, hopefully with Coach Stanley, but we'll see. He might be trying to get his players ready to see what we got in the second half. As you see Truck Stop huddle over there in the shade. Definitely pretty warm out here, but pretty ideal conditions. The wind has died down, not as brutal as it was before. And yet, she's got Coach Andy Nielsen. Emmy, you're ready whenever you are. Go for it. Yep, we're good to go.
I'm going to make sure I didn't get it again. All right, I am here at the half with Machine Coach Andy Nielsen. Andy, really exciting first half so far. You all had really great patience in the red zone to take it to half. What has been your key to success so far?
I think we're having good with the disc in general. I think the thing that we need to work on is getting the disc to a big space. You see, we jumped up on the trap side a little bit with their backhand force, and once we get it to this big space, nice throw from Pavel to Paul, then we go inside. So I think that's what we need to do offensively.
Great. Now on the defensive side, there have been just really, really tight defense, especially on those resets. We looked at the throw counts. Truck is already over 100 throws. You all are in the 70s or so. Has that been kind of a strategy to try and force it under a little bit?
I think that they are grinding through our ability to force them out, so they're doing well. But that's part of the side effect, right? Is that you make them grind for little yards and little spaces, and that's what we want to do as a defense: make them play in little spaces, be tight in those action spots, and then make a play like you see Johnny doing, like you see Pete doing over here. We got guys to do it. I think we just need to have a little more discipline on D.
Totally. So there's still a lot of Ultimate still left to be played. What do you tell your team to keep the foot on the gas in the second half?
I think the main thing is that when we play with a tight chain and our heads up on defense, and when we play in big spaces on offense, then it's just really hard on our opponents. So that's we're going to stick with the same stuff.
Great. Well, good luck in the second half. Andy Nielsen with Machine. They currently lead Truck Stop 8-7.
Thank you so much, Emmy. Great to hear from the coach down there. Chicago, they could be on a hot streak here as they look to a strong second half against Truck Stop from Washington, D.C., and the winner will advance from this pool with a bye into quarterfinals. Let's take a break right now. We're going to look at some plays from today. Got a lot of highlights. Top 10 plays from today brought to you by Eddie Chan and the Fulcrum team. Take it away.
Or I'll third? Or yeah, you third.
Hey, we're back here at Half Machine and Truck Stop. We're going to kick it over to Aaron Maraca, who's out in the field. Aaron, you got an interview for us. Take it away. Let's see what's going on in some of the other pools.
The news of my interview have been greatly rated, but I do have news. The men's division over here on these fields are all tight. All the games that went to half are 1- and 2-point games.
Wow.
The Pony Sub-Zero game, as exciting as we were planning. The point to take half was a back and forth, grinded out, a huck look from Sub-Zero on offense, well defended, a quick through pass, briefly macked by Sub-Zero's O-line to get it back. But the back and forth ultimately resulted in Pony taking half, going into the second half with a little bit of momentum. But the conditions have died down a fair amount, and I think the huck game is on. I did notice that BVH, notable leader of Pony, is in tennis shoes on the sideline. Wasn't really sure what the story is there, but I intend to find out. So I hope you all had a great halftime, and it looks like you and I are both in for some exciting ultimate here in the men's division.
That is.
Aaron.
That's so dramatic and exciting. Thanks, Aaron.
Well, BVH is the coach, so I hope he's in tennis shoes. But I wonder if, Well, anyone want to tweet us and tell us who's in tennis shoes? Oh, okay. Looks like Kim Tischler and Soren Tischler-Leonardo have chimed in and are listening. Maybe they could tell us if BVH is in tennis shoes or not. Hi, Soren, and hi, Kim. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope you're having fun. Got a pretty good game here. So let's take a look real quick. Hey, Truck, maybe you could pull up the brackets, because the winner of pool C that we're in right now. Let's take a look at see what they face. Not that one. Sorry about that. We've got some noise issues. That was probably could have been Aaron's mic back up. We just saw the pools there. We'll tell you right now. So if you look at the bracket, this is Pool C. The winner, of course, gets the bye, and they move into a bracket where they will play the winner of the Pool D second place finisher playing the Pool A third place finisher, which looked to be something like Condors. Or here we see
There
it right now.
it is.
Yep. So you win. You're down here at the bottom here. You look at sort of in the middle, 1C. That's the pool play winner. You play 2D, 3A. So that's no easy challenge. That's either going to be double wide or revolver or ring of fire. I guess that's none of those teams look particularly fun. Or it could be Condors. Now you lose this pool, you go down into 2C or maybe even 3, because remember, Chain Lightning has a win over
That's right.
the Chicago Machine team. In fact, now that we talk about that, so whoever wins this game doesn't win the pool at all unless it's Truck Stop. Truck Stop has to win to advance.
Yep.
Otherwise, they could drop down to 3rd, depending on point differential from that earlier Chain Lightning game. And I believe that was a solid victory by Chain, maybe like a 15-11 type of thing.
Yes, it was. I have it. Well, it was 15-12. Yep, you were very close.
Okay. So that means right now, if Machine wins this pool, they're probably going to go down, to be honest, because that'll be a 3-way tie. Chain will have a +3 advantage. Machine, if they don't win by 3, so they win by 3, they even it up. Everyone's sort of even. Depends on Truck Stop's Chain game. Well, some stuff to figure out there. Let's get back to the action, because that's kind of where it's at. You want to win. That's period is where we're at in sports, as we see kind of a more traditional visor line for Truck Stop on offense here, as Pryor and the rest of the gang, Wodach, Schaffner, and all with the field here now.
2 unvisored outliers.
Ted Seither to Blake, Lloyd Blake looking, and finds McDonald. Rowan McDonald pretty quiet so far this game. Up to Norbaum, looking for Wodach. Can't hit him, but up to McDonald and makes a get move to get open on Goff. And a quick switch from Chicago. It's not, oh, that poach is there, but not in time. Norbaum makes the play up to high pointed, and not able to get it is McDonald, and that's a turn. As Nate Goff, the big man, comes down with it. And a timeout quickly.
Really quick movement from Truck Stop. A lot of switches then happening on the Machine side. And when you have those switches, that just changes up your offensive flow a little bit too, sometime in your favor. But this time, an overthrow to McDonald.
Yeah, and remember, Norbaum really had to work hard to even get that pass. He was kind of sandwiched by 2 defenders. Kind of got crunched.
Oh, right.
And then
the one before was almost blocked.
And then got that pass off. Of course, that was a backhand to the forehand side, and sometimes that can cause that mistake there where it rises up.
Interesting move to call a timeout so early in the second half, but I mean, certainly to be able to go up by 2, so crucial.
Okay, hey, we're going to go to Aaron right now with an interview with Sub-Zero. Aaron, take it away.
Hey, so I thought it would be interesting to check in with Talus Boyd, the coach of Sub-Zero. Clearly a contested first half, very close game. What do you need to do in the second half to beat Pony?
We just got to take advantage of the chances we get. We've had some good chances, gotten some Ds, and we just got to take care of the disc, throw it to our team, not their team.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here, and I'm not Mike. You heard it here. We're sharing earbuds, and I'm going to stay here because it's a tight game, and we're going to see how this goes. Back to you, Tony and Emmy.
Wow, pretty exciting. Talus Boyd, of course, took Minnesota Grey Duck to the national championship in college, and is his first year coaching with this Sub-Zero club team, and they're hoping to bring some of that championship vigor over to the club side in Minneapolis. Thank you, Aaron. As we see Jesse White with the disc, the veteran for this team, slings it through the middle to Goff. Goff now looking, has White and can't get to him on a second effort. He gets it.
He did. Wow.
Nice concentration from Jesse White. Gibson now with the disc, looking for his options. Decides to drop it back to Sam Canner. Canner to Bansfield to Walden Nelson. That's a break for Chicago Machine. They make Truck Stop pay, and now they're up by 2.
And that sweet spot for Machine, we've seen Kurt Gibson score there twice. Now a different Chicago player, but a score there none the same. I mean, I questioned, I'll be real. I was like, does Machine really need to call a timeout this early? But clearly it helped to kind of get their heads on straight for what they wanted to do offensively.
It's kind of interesting. You know, I'm kind of with you, Emmy. Like, maybe you save those, but, you know, not a whole lot of time left in the half. A little bit of a choppy first half, so might not get to 15. Okay.
And if you get the break, I mean, breaks are just so hard to come by, especially at this level. Kudos to them for being able to convert. There is still time, though, for Truck, and we've seen them be very strong with lots of momentum so far.
This is where I really wonder about the Truck Stops. It's hard to describe their versatility that we've seen on offense. It's somewhat untraditional. I'm looking out and seeing another, what I would think of as the D-line, with Castine, David Shields, Bloodgood, Cranston. Cranston has been a D captain and leader of this team for a long time. Chance Cochran, number 3. So, you know, I just wonder, without those, you know, kind of a set O-line, if that's a factor for Truck Stops' sort of slippage.
Well, I mean, the D-line converted for them on offense earlier, so.
And maybe keep the D-line out there the whole time. Just reverse everything.
We've all been there.
Reverse the flow.
Somehow the D-line is what's working.
Bloodgood up to Cochran. The zone is here. Bloodgood. They want to trap on the sideline. Kind of loosey-goosey. And not a whole lot of wind. Shields over the top easily to Bloodgood. He wanted to go through the cup, but that would have been deed. The Scuba works over the top to Christian Johnson, to Cranston, making good yardage here. Cochran with the disc. Streaker is Bloodgood, and now there's no one.
Uh-oh.
Back to Bloodgood. Loose trap again, very loose. Troy Holland. Back to Shields. Von Allen-Gielan is tracking around down there, looking for a block for Chicago. As you see Von Allen-Gielan get in there, and can't quite get there. And Barker tries, and now it's going to be a run. It's a jailbreak. Christian Johnson to Nate Castine, a hold for Truck Stop.
Such a solid hold from Truck, and what we saw multiple times from them in the first half, working those unders, lots of fakes to go around. Those loose traps, sometimes you get caught because they're kind of hanging in the throwing lanes, really easy for the poaches, but they recognized it. Didn't necessarily do the quick dump into the, quote, cup every time, sometimes swinging around, and lots of throws. I mean, I'm sure our commentary source stat program is showing, you know, triple-digit throw count for Truck by now.
Yeah, good discipline there from Truck Stop to recognize that loosey zone and just take what's given, really. You know, they flip it over the top if they want. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a lot of throws. But it's also 5 turnovers. You know, your completion percentage is up, but, you know, Chicago still got a break on you, so it's not super great. Thanks again to Tom Stiles for that commentary source. We wish I could use it more. We have a lot of action going on up here. I can dial it up on my laptop. Gives us some details on the players, details on the stats, and a lot of good action there. This is a game really where both teams are playing small ball, and I haven't seen that in some time. Certainly didn't see it at all in the last game we called on the stream, which was Speed Eater and Toro in the mixed division. It was nothing but deep shots, it seemed. Gibson to White. Joe White on a bidding defender there, can't quite get to it. That was Jeremy Hess, youngster, but it's a turn for Chicago. Truck Stop with the chance. Chris Strub will walk over to pick it up. He centers it right away to Ryan Swift. Swift, one of the younger players on this team, up to Spiva, the veteran. He'll put it. He's got Jeremy Hess. Hess can get up, and he does. That's bookends for Jeremy Hess. And Truck Stop gets the break back as they tie this game up.
We knew that they had the arsenal to be able to do this, and I'm so glad that Hess was able to get the bookends. How about that beautiful throw from Nikki Spiva? Such tight defense.
Not quite bookends because he didn't quite get the D, but yeah.
Oh, right. Close
but
enough.
he was there for the D. I'll count that. Forced it.
I love that throw.
You know, that's an away forehand upwind that, like, if you just miss that a little bit, it's going to sail over the head. It's going to, like, sail into the defender. But if anyone has that throw,
seriously,
Spiva's got that.
The amount of touch that you need to have on it, and then trust and chemistry from your receiver to know, okay, if this is where I'm running, he's going to put it.
Jeremy's 19. So curiously, he has that trust that, and I've seen Hess. He's going to be a star in this division as he keeps getting
Absolutely.
He's got the springiness. He's got the ups. Got a good head, a good IQ for the game and for the disc.
So now we're all tied up.
All tied up.
Oh, this is exciting.
Coming into Yiding Howe up to Kurt Gibson, and Bloodgood almost gets another run through. Up to Zane Rankin. Rankin wants North. Keegan North with the disc. Back to Gibson. Looking for Arders. Here's Arders. That's going up. Keegan North. Keegan North versus Troy Holland. Troy Holland says, I'll take that.
Great read from Holland to come under for that interception.
Kristen Johnson, Nate Castine. Can they get another break? Castine doesn't see Holland, had him wide open, instead to Shields, the reliable David Shields. Up to Del Rico. Rico Johnson with the disc. Up to Cranston. Chicago a step behind their defense right now. Opportunity for Truck Stop if they can make it happen. Instead, a shot from Cranston. It's caught! Troy Holland reads it. Yiding Howe is there. Hold on. I think there's a call. I think this is coming back.
It's going back.
You gonna break out into the song? I mean, I thought it sounds like the beginning of a musical.
Welcome back. Yes, it does. I mean, it was just such a great grab in the end zone.
Yeah, and it's gonna be erased from the history books.
Oh, gone
like it
forever.
never happened. Well, I mean, I guess they could just do it again.
I mean, you see, well, it won't. I mean, both offense and defense have gone off the field in an injury sub, so.
So Rowan McDonald comes in. Goff on him. Yiding Howe now is on the space where McDonald is, as you see number 21, Rowan McDonald there with the Karate Kid headwear.
I love it. We did say everybody but two had visors earlier. It was the visors or this Karate Kid
right.
thing, just to clarify.
Shields. Tight windows here for Truck Stop as they try to break again. Back to Shields. Now the windows are opening up. Bloodgood with the defender, Keegan North, not near him. Trying to find Shields. Nice defense from Pavel Giannis, but he falls down, giving Shields an opportunity and a reset to Castine. Looking for Johnson. Del Rico jukes Kurt Gibson out of his shoes and gets the score and the break for Truck Stop.
Awesome footwork this time from Del Rico Johnson.
That was it. That was
doing the juke and the jive and the goal, just like his celebration dance was showcasing.
A little Euro step. Watch this. Let's see if we can see him come into the picture there. It's too late there. Gibson had given up at that point.
And you get that one quick step and you just surge towards that spot.
Yeah.
Both teams, I think at least 6 goals from between the two teams have been scored from that spot in this game.
There's a close shot of Del Rico Johnson, longtime truck player, one of the veterans on this squad, known for his defensive prowess, but again can do a little bit of everything. That's the great thing you see about veterans, especially on the D side, when as they get older they like, hey, I've been playing for so long I could throw just about everything too.
Seriously.
He's pulling now. I don't recall seeing that all the time from Del Rico. So the versatility is there. But one thing he's always got is the quick step and the footwork.
Such quick step.
It's always fun to watch that Rico get up in the air. That's kind of one of my favorite.
Oh, I know.
Rico
I love
moments.
it.
Like in the Color of Ultimate game, remember when he went up with the wrong hand and then adjusted?
So dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
awesome.
awesome.
That was an ESPN retweet.
It was, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was fun. All right, so Truck Stop with a 3-goal run now, a hold and a pair of breaks, as they will. Nikki Spiva will send this pull that will not stay in bounds, and a brick for the Machine offense. A loss here drops them into third, sends them over into a gnarly crossover. So a pre-quarter game with either Revolver, Ring of Fire, or Double Wide, we still don't know. Revolver at 2-0, but if they lose to Ring of Fire, who knows what's going to happen over there.
None of those are easy opponents, but you're not going to get that here.
Exactly. Canner resets, and there's a call. And that's Seth Weaver, young player for Machine with the disc. Weaver to Bansfield, looking for Goff, sends it, nice put. Bansfield's got that throw, dialed. Don't let Johnny with the free look. I mean, he's only done that for like, I don't know, 7 years. One of the stars, of course, that took Eastern Michigan to college nationals kind of out of nowhere with like basically a nine-man roster.
Oh, I love it. You see Goff look back at the throw. He's like, hey, you know what's about to happen. Just make it happen. Turns on the Jets. And, I mean, that's what you would expect. But I love just that nonverbal communication that's happening. What a great put.
I mean, yeah, I mean.
Full stride. I mean,
especially
that's
to that
exactly what you
side.
want. Yes.
I mean, to the forehand side, I mean, with Johnny. With Bansfield, there's Bansfield right there.
Yeah, Bansfield just so comfortable in placing such a beautiful throw up into space.
And, you know, so Johnny's a Michigan guy. I believe he's still in Michigan because he was on High Five last year. Of course, High Five, that combo Ohio-Michigan team. So he had to, you know, when you're playing in a city that's, you know, you either have to drive 2 or 3 hours to practice or you do pods.
Right.
You practice with your teammates
It's
in
tough.
your town.
It's tough.
No matter what you do, you're not getting paid for it.
That is true.
It's all about the glory here at this tournament.
Oh, it is, and
also it's really fun.
it is. It's
both those
just
things are
so
actually
fun.
more important than money. I'll just say that.
I mean, I
They're
hear
all equal.
professional athletes, though, they even say, like, look, yeah, you're getting a big paycheck, but if you're losing the joy of playing the game, and I'll argue at whatever level, like, it really stinks. It'd be nice if there was a paycheck here, too, but that's another story.
Whoa, Schaffner unleashes and finds the target there, as it looked like it was going to go to McDonald, but instead Joy Freund picks it up. The laser, the low laser from Markham Schaffner in flow here. Power position, his defender Canner is behind him. He's got nothing but air in front of him, and he lays it out there for Joe Freund.
I mean, that is meat and potatoes for Markham Schaffner right there. If you are guarding him, you do not let him strike up line and get in that power position. And if you do, you jump the heck in front of him to try and stop it. But, I mean, these are top-notch, high-class defenders who are on Markham. But that is what he does best, in my opinion, and full on display there.
Well, Chicago Machine now, as the game gets in late to the second half, is going to have to find another gear. They took that 2-break lead that has been clawed back now by Truck Stop. So a small margin of victory win here does not do them a whole lot of good. Unfortunately, it could knock them down to third. You know what? I want to look at the chain. Maybe we can find the results of the chain, the score of the chain game. Chain versus Truck Stop, because that'll give us our point differential.
I had it pulled up a second ago. Let me take a look. Chain Truck Stop 15-7.
Ooh.
So pretty clear
So,
win.
Truck Stop's working with a lot of cushion in this game.
Yeah.
So they could lose by like 5 and still win. And Del
Oh.
Rico says, thank you. I'll take that. We don't need a 5-point cushion.
Right.
We'll just take the W and move on. Cranston. Holland. Del Rico wants bookends maybe? I don't know. Bloodgood. Signaling. Bloodgood drops it up to Christian Johnson. Johnson will send it up and high to Castine. Pulls it down. Now Johnson looking. And no, up to Troy Holland. And, you know, it's just that's a deflating point, right? You throw into a poach, and you're basically like a half step behind on every.
I mean, credit, that is the beauty of being able to get an interception versus batting it away or something like that, is now you have already set up in an athletic stance to be able to throw, and it was just boom, 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 boom. Oh, now I'm jumping on the goal line to try and make it happen, and they did. Now they're up by 2.
Well, this game is Del Rico's stamp. It's being made on this game now. Late game
Great
score. Big interception there, as it's been a 5-1 run now for Truck Stop. They were down 9-7. Now it is 12-10 as this game goes on. Some scores in from the other divisions. We're going to come to Aaron a little bit later, find out some more there. I saw Pony and Sub-Zero were at 8.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Sure is. And I'd love to find out about some other scores from some of the other divisions. Maybe we'll get an update as this progresses. Well, you know, we can look over. It looks like it's, oh, well, here we go. We got Riot on the stream next to us. And you can tune that one in. If not, it looks like they're
Against Scandal, they're up by 2, I think.
Yeah, now it's.
Yep.
It was 9-7, and now it's 10-8. That's unique.
That game also available on USA Ultimate Livestream. We're back tomorrow, too. We'll tell you more about it, but you will have your Friday fun day with lots of live stream coverage.
Ooh, Evangelides is down. Not happy about it. So it looks like contact there with Hess. Not sure what happened. I didn't see it. Emmy, did you see?
It looked like some contact, and then he was rolling around on the ground.
Take a look at this. Hope he's all right. Looks like he's up and walking around. There's Evangelides. Kind of like, it's weird. It looked like
maybe an
looked
ankle
like basketball.
roll.
It looked like he was trying to set a pick.
It did.
Like Alex Evangelides honestly looked like he was trying to set a screen for like a pick and roll, you know?
That's not quite what you do in this sport, but he is walking off the field. We hope he returns.
And Hess looked like he was going to also set a screen. I don't know what was going on there. Wrong sport, guys.
Not Gultimate, folks.
Right. Can't wait for that USA Gultimate tournament to be to come around. I'll have to check in with some leaders of that. Keegan North fakes and looking, not finding, and throws.
Costly miscommunication.
Yeah, to no one there.
Ooh, Kurt was not jazzed about that.
Now another break opportunity for Truck Stop. Every single Truck Stop player has seen the field, and they're all doing damage. Astro Minor here. Eric Minor throws the goal to Joe Richards. 2 names we have not called, and there they are making contributions right on cue.
And, I mean, you would expect a team of this caliber to take advantage of those types of turns that come their way, but uncharacteristic turn from Machine, just kind of miscue. But I mean, we speak to the depth of both of these rosters, but I think that's case in point for the Washington D.C. squad right there. 2 names we hadn't called yet making the plays.
Let's chime in now with Aaron Maraca out in the field and get an update on some other pool play games. Aaron?
Thanks, Tony and Emmy. I hope you're having a good time. Hey, Tony and Emmy. So I'm over here on fields like 9 through, as is typical in second half play, a couple of games have resulted in a little bit wider of a margin. Temper pulling away from Bravo, looking like they're going to close that out. Of course, Ring up pretty far on Revolver, also looking like they're going to close it out. But the story here at the Sub-Zero field is that Sub is hungry and just broke to take the lead. I think the score is 10-9 right now. This game is going to get capped, and it's going to be exciting up until the end. I know a couple of these other men's games have pool play implications, particularly the GOAT chain game, which is still a 2-point game. So I'm constantly refreshing my phone looking for new scores, but
Aaron,
I think that the bracket is going to be phenomenal.
Aaron, who's up in the chain game? Chain and
GOAT has been up on chain. They're holding about a
goodness.
2-point
Okay.
lead. So it could be anybody's game. Obviously, there's still a lot of game left, but we're coming down to the wire in all of these games. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that would put a 3-way tie for second in this pool if GOAT wins that game against Chains. Thank you, Aaron, for that update. So Machine now in a little bit more trouble, and they might not even realize it because now their point differential. Well, actually, the point difference in this game doesn't matter so much. It's they kind of rolled GOAT.
Yep.
So they're going to have a big differential if GOAT beats Chain. Chain will have a medium differential. GOAT will have a very bad differential. That would, I think, give Chicago the second place out of this pool, not the third.
Yes. I agree.
So, folks, this game is meaningless that you've been watching. Is really the takeaway.
What is the meaning of it?
Like, Truck Stop could have lost by 4.
It's pretty exciting, though. When you're on the field, none of that other stuff really matters. You just have to take care of business.
Yeah. Yep. And, had Chicago won this game, the confidence would be, kind of dialed in, and they'd be kind of like
not over
feeling
yet.
the love. Yeah. You're right. It's not over yet. Bansfield. Got Jesse White behind. Will center it back to him. White IOs it, but too much there for the bidding Sam Canner. And David Shields will pick up for Truck Stop. A chance for the D-line to break for the game. And again, Chicago Machine to step off this throw. A little wacky from Castine. Troy Holland is there, but Goff goes up and gets it.
That was more like a summer league type throw, I'm just going to say, than, maybe what is part of the truck system. But you never know. I mean, the receiver almost got it. Credit to Goff for being there and reading that so well. You have plenty of time to cap, but
Goff out of South Carolina, University of South Carolina. Haven't seen too many Gamecocks players as this Evangelides throw will hang up for Bansfield. He skies for it.
What a grab.
Looking for Walden Nelson. Butter. Butter, baby. Bansfield butter, baby.
To quote the great Liam Grant, that was a buttery biscuit.
With toast and jam.
Exactly.
That was a terrible accent by me. But he would say toast, right? Toast and jam and butter and lots of butter on it.
He has a few variations of it, but it is just all true here. Bansfield with just that sick high point, and then puts just really nice angle to make up for the overthrow earlier.
Here's the Goff D. Way to get that, I like to say, paw up there. Look at the bodying by both teams, the jockeying by Bloodgood and Bansfield there. And then Walden Nelson springs free.
So Machine answers when they need to, capitalizing on some miscues from Truck. You say some miscues. It was really one. That's how narrow the margins are for error.
We didn't get back to
making big plays.
Yeah, some of the origins of this Truck Stop team. Talking to on email to some of their old captains, the Gordon twins, Bobby Gordon, and his brother Matt, Kevin Walsh, who's an old friend of mine from the University of Notre Dame, was one of the early players on that team, and then Ed Van Leer, who I don't know, but and Eli Kazan was on that team.
Oh,
you probably know
wow.
Kazan. Everyone knows Kazan.
Yep.
Brock.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they just wanted to put their heads down, work hard, not argue a lot, and just be a hard-working team.
Easier said than done, but that's so awesome.
Wow, nice pickup from Schaffner there. But so the origins of Truck Stop, and then the name, of course, comes from that they were a collection from up and down I-95.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go to the other part of the name at this point. There's a timeout here from as the sideline cheers rabidly for that timeout from Tyler Monroe.
One of my favorite moments.
Biggest cheer of the day.
It's great, though, when sometimes you're in a huddle and someone says, "Yeah, we forced them to call a timeout." No, we called the timeout. Oh. But either way, sometimes that's a great shift and showcase of momentum.
Maybe we can get into this. Can we get into this huddle and hear what Daryl's saying? I don't see Cameron Hodgkinson with the camera. Where did he go? I feel like we should just have like someone in there with like a GoPro in the middle of the huddle as we see Daryl Stanley there diagram something out there. Stanley, of course, came out of the Philadelphia scene, so he's also along the I-95 corridor.
Yes. Another stop on the I-95 corridor, if you will.
When I talked to Stanley last Monday, earlier this week, he was going to a Maryland practice.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, I think that's what he did on the weekend. So he's coaching the Maryland men's team.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He is such a great coach and just makes himself available to a
crazy.
very wide range of players.
So much.
It's
You know,
very, very cool.
He was in Heidelberg this year with his
Yes,
signature
exactly.
binoculars, the little mini ones,
Yes.
looking across the line. As
Oh.
assistant coach for the men's
Just
team, I believe.
extremely positive. One of the most positive people I've ever met.
I played with Daryl Stanley
No way.
in Wildwood
Okay.
back in the day. Little known trivia that I mention every time I have a broadcast.
Oh, started too soon.
Oh,
Send it
Kurt.
back.
Kurt's going to hold the line on this one. Dengler's going to uphold his Kurt Gibson call. Tyler Monroe nods and accedance. All right. Monroe. Behind him is Schaffner. Back to Schaffner. It was a high count. Weaver on Schaffner. Schaffner looking to end the game. But he'll get it up to Pryor, the reliable. He'll try to end the game with a big hammer to Rowan McDonald. Wow.
No good.
Sorry, that was Joe Freund. Sorry about that. It's the necky and the visor, but he doesn't have the Karate Kid bandana piece like Schaffner does. Gibson will pick it up. Walks to the line. They cut off the back of the stack, but he can't find him and has to reset instead. That was Stephen Mance, number 9. Gibson fakes the big huck. We haven't seen him release one yet. And the horn is off. Still a game to 15 here. Mance with the disc. He will not put it. Drops it back down as we're seeing a lot of folks on the Chicago roster too. Sorry, that was Jeff Weiss, number 9, and 8 is Stephen Manson, the big man. Jeff Weiss, another one of the U24 players. And he's got a lot of skill and potential as a youngster playing on that Team USA squad. Here is Weiss.
Kurt Gibson just standing in the end zone, unguarded.
Muttering to himself.
Yes.
Undoubtedly. So, but the only shot you're going to get there now is a hammer.
That's what I was going to say. What throw would accurately get there without letting the defense make an adjustment?
And who is that? Is that Boxley? Christian Boxley's got wheels.
Yep.
We got an update. It's 12-11 Sub-Zero over Pony. We'll look at this injury from Schaffner. It looked like he just turned one direction and went the other. So, update from Aaron again. Game to 14, and Sub-Zero is up. And a correction, on the sideline of tennis shoes was not BVH, but Jeff Babbitt.
That's
for
big.
Pony. That is big.
And he is big, too.
He's a big guy.
He is.
Like this guy, Weiss with the disc. Fakes again, swings it. That's caught up by Mance. Whoa, bid. And
Wow.
caught by Weaver. And a little reset there. Weiss, one of the University of Chicago players. There's a core, sort of a core. There's like Chicago Junk 2 years ago, 3 years ago, really had some. Weiss was one of them. Had a great run at regionals in college. Went to the finals. Kind of a little surprising. I think out of like the 9 seed. And you can see why when you place a number of people on the Chicago club team later on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not a school traditionally known for its ultimate programs, but Emmy, someone you may know that went to that school, actually a whole group of them. Last name starts with a T. They run a clothing company.
Oh, that's right. The Titcombs.
Yeah, Exton and his brother Zalen, both University of Chicago grads.
That's right.
Maybe Vero, too. I'm not sure. Joe White. Von Alangilan. Part of the Northark family. Whoa. I don't really like that from Wodach there. A little shove in the back. They're unhappy. White spikes the disc. Chicago trying to show a little bit of emotion here in this late game situation. And a break for Machine. Or was that a hold? I think it's a break if Schaffner's on the field. Yeah, it's a break as Pryor. Hammer there. That would have been the game. No, it's a game to 15.
I think that would be, yes, that'd be 14. But regardless, I mean, such close quarters.
Oh, I see Wodach had a hand on the disc. Okay. It looked like he'd given him a forearm shiver, right? But it actually just had his hand on the disc. So.
Joe White, though, with such great acceleration and control to that front cone to get there. And, I mean, Machine absolutely needed that. They still need one more break to tie it up. Really 2, but it is a game to 15. The cap is on.
This sounds crazy, Emmy, but what if this game were just to continue long enough that we can get the final score of Pony Sub? Right? Like, again, it almost doesn't matter who wins or loses at this point. Like, everything's kind of locked in. I think it's going to be 1-2 Truck in Chicago. If my calculus is correct.
Right, exactly.
According to Guy in Booth.
It's the GIF that has all of the like calculus equations right in front of you.
Rowan McDonald drops it back to Pryor. So coming into this tournament, Coach Stanley told me that last year one thing they did not do was in this game right here, which is to win the pool. He's like, first of all, Truck's never won the pool.
Wow, really?
Really. Last year they lost to Revolver.
That's right.
In this game. 4-5 game, I believe. No, couldn't it have been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Truck's never won the pool. So it's, you think that like here's an elite team. When they made semis 2 years ago in Sarasota, that was an upset. That was a big upset of Ironside. And they lost to Dig that year and Jeff Babbitt, and went to 2-1. It was a 3-way tie in their pool, and they did not come out on top.
That
Pryor, it looks like he might have pulled a muscle. I hate to see that.
I mean, how he twisted his body to be able to catch that.
I hope it's just cramps.
I hope so too. I mean,
he kind of got Walden Nelson a little bit behind him there. He kind of got up in the air there, did Pryor, and then I think unexpectedly on the twist there, just a cramp. Looks like he's going to be all right, thankfully. So again, back to what Coach Stanley was telling me is that we didn't do that. We didn't have energy in that pool play win game, like the chance to win the pool, and it's because we didn't eat well enough during the day.
Wow.
Right? It's like these little things that he's like, I wasn't in the right frame of mind. My team wasn't in the right frame of mind. And, you always say, well, of course you're going to hydrate and eat. And
but you don't, though. How many times at an ultimate tournament you can't eat heavy enough, right, for a full meal because there's not that much time between games.
Oh. Lloyd Blake digs that out. And was he in or out? That's the question.
Observer is saying in.
You don't stop playing. It's an active call.
We're going to listen in a little bit. Mitch Stanley comes in. So it's an active call. Victor Cheng there, mic'd up.
Saying 1.
Okay, coming in on 1. That looks like it's going to stay with Blake. A blue card was issued. Not sure who that went to, but I'm assuming a Chicago player. As it's getting a little chippy here.
Stakes are high. So close.
Pretty tight quarters here as they're trying to work it in, and they finally do. I believe that's Tyler Monroe throwing it to Gus Norbaum, the William & Mary graduate.
And Monroe just moving the mark so much to try and find that opening.
I kind of wonder, Emmy, where, as we look at the highlights of this, so we've seen in this game, truck stop, every single player on the roster hit the field. What is the lineup going forward? Like, does Daryl tighten lines in quarters and semis?
I mean, his philosophy is not to.
Okay.
Right? You keep everything as they are. So it's hard to get into his mind, but I think typically from a coaching standpoint, there are two sides of the coin, right? It's a long tournament, so we need to make sure we are using our full roster. At the same time, though, I mean, if we're heading into quarters,
Right.
you got to go with who's making the plays, right?
Yep.
I mean, the risk of that is you've built up a lot of chemistry within your various lines that you're hoping to have, but it's like do or die at that point.
Right.
If I were the coach, and I'm not the coach that Daryl Stanley is, if I'm the coach, I tighten up the lines of who's really having a great weekend so far.
Okay. So, yeah, you go off not tightening on based on what you're going into the tournament A line and B line was, but who's playing well. I like that. That makes sense. I could see that.
And it might be a variation of what you have, but
We can ask him after the game.
we should.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I like it.
The public wants to know.
The public being us.
I want to know.
I want to know, too. Evangelides. Whoa, hold on. Stoppage there as Del Rico Johnson and Paul Arders collide.
A little shoulder to shoulder
it was,
bump in there.
Yeah, bumping and grinding. I think they were just crossing each other on the field there. No other madness going on there. As Mitch Dingler will come by and pick up a hat. Okay, Evangelides. Good to see him back out there after his collapse on the field. As he swung the disc over to Mr. Rutledge. Rutledge back to Evangelides. Looking for Arders. Nope. White through the middle. Almost gotten by Spivak. This we have not seen is that deep shot. No one from either side has really been effective at it. Saw a couple Schaffner throws. That's about it. Arders.
Especially going this direction.
Yep.
And the wind's not that
There's
that
no wind right
significant,
now at all. Yeah. They're just the offenses aren't looking for it, or the defenses are stopping it. Here's Shanahan with the disc. Up to Zane Rankin. To Joe White. He'll put it. That's a nice edge to it. That'll work well to Pavel Giannis. Giannis will try to work it up. Looking for Rutledge, but there's a little bit of a timeout in here. We'll hear the observer again, perhaps. He's signaling something. That's Victor Cheng mic'd up.
Who are you guarding?
He's asking. Okay, they're kind of resetting. All right, looks like they're sort of in positioning now.
Yeah,
Mitch is still holding up it. Okay.
Hey, what's our force?
Gotta say, I like hearing on the field. I feel like Emmy.
Wait. Kurt's the first sub, right? Kurt, if you're the one and only sub, you're here. We're gonna have you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Victor Cheng is moving the subs around, so Kurt's coming in on a sub. Emmy, I was going to say that you play Ultimate, I play Ultimate. This is what I'm used to, is hearing all the sounds on the field, right? Like,
yes.
Everyone's talking. Like, if you're not talking, you're kind of like missing half the action when you're playing, I feel. Back to Gibson. Gibson cycling through. Drops it back to Arders, who's been all over the place. The give and go isn't there as the switch from Spiva is in time. Now looking for Shanahan, drops it back to Paul Arders. Arders to Gibson.
Gibson,
Well.
he's really looking for that break side.
Yeah, what's he?
No cuts over there, though.
No cuts on either side, just Pavel
Same
Giannis on
five.
the fourth side. That was it. Okay, nice setup there from Rutledge. And he's kind of in.
Yeah.
Taps it. This is weird. Mitch Singler's going to be, come on, Mitch. I talked to Mitch. This is not his last tournament. He tweeted out that he was going to try to get to 1,000 tournaments as an observer. Sorry, games, not tournaments. And I thought that meant it was the end of it because his wife's having a baby. But he said, no, he's just slowing down. So we're going to do a whole set. We have a whole package built up for Mitch Dingler and his contributions to the sport. And this is a goal for Chicago Machine. A hold for them.
Really, really great patience. You saw Machine even lost some yards just to maintain that possession, but are really able to capitalize. And talk about people in talking with people from other sports, it's so funny, right? We've all been there where as soon as somebody asks, like, well, what do you like to do for fun? You're like, oh, well, here we go. They're about to learn this whole flood of information about this sport from me. And some folks from other sports cannot understand negative yardage to keep possession.
Okay.
It's difficult. Well, why would you make that decision not understanding how crucial keeping possession is versus maybe, but I mean, I don't know. You see it in soccer too. They'll pass behind them. Hockey.
See it in basketball. Yeah.
Right.
Hockey for sure. It's just not in yardage, first down situations of a football game, really.
Something else, you were talking about kind of hearing all the sounds on the field. That's something else that's pretty unique to the sport as well. I was talking with a woman who was an elite level softball player. And so, we're talking about ultimate, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I mean, the sideline actually really has a huge impact versus the bench or a dugout and really making that communication. That's also pretty unique to ultimate as well.
I feel like that's in basketball. Like the NBA, I feel like the sideline gets to tell their sometimes you'll hear that
But they're still confined.
They
can't really leave their bench area of where they are. The coach and even the coaches have a specific box of where they have to stay within.
Yep. So you work on a lot of basketball games, right? With the Rockets, is that true, or just the Toyota Center?
I have been to the Toyota Center, but
I've heard of the Toyota.
Right.
I've been to Madison Square Garden.
Right, exactly. I am an MFFL, though, Mav fan for life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What was your born into the Mavs family? Is it that type of thing?
No. I was born in the Bay Area, but this is a funny Mavs story. I played high school basketball. The Mavs were so bad. They had a triple header. My high school girls team, high school boys team, and then the Mavs. And so but the basketball teams got free tickets to the Mavs game, and that's because they just so badly – that was a promotion. They badly needed fans in the stands. And then, a number of years later, they're winning a world title.
Cool.
Super cool.
So you went early as
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. That goes to show you that, right? Connecting with youth, like what we see with USAU and the YCC, having the youth teams, is you bond with those teams.
Exactly. And now there's a WNBA team in Dallas too. There wasn't at that time. But
Wings?
The Dallas Wings, yes, have to call them out as well.
Boyd Blake here puts it to, it's D. No, and it's unable to be caught up by McDonald. Goff was up there early, forced Rowan to go up. And again, Trucks up with 2 chances on O is what they're going to have to close this game out. There goes one of them. They're either going to have to get this back or wait until the aforementioned universe point comes up.
Goff making that play.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big right there.
Coach Nielsen told us before, yesterday when we talked to him that he was going to put Goff on Rowan McDonald.
So Super fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, it's working out. Goff will send this. That's a Rowan McDonald looking shot. Boxley and Bansfield. Oh, what a pickup! Walden Nelson follows that. Dumps it up to Weaver. Wow, win or lose, I don't care. That is huge.
Holy macaroni. Oh my goodness.
Where did he come from? Bansfield has a chance after this tips down to the ground. Walden never stops. Full extension splits as he goes down to pick it up.
I love it. Walden in full stride. It's like he knew somehow that was going to happen, to be able to have those kinds of reflexes. And he's like, oh, wait. I'm not in.
I don't know which is better reflexes, like getting back to the line like quick and you know, instead of celebrating that ridiculous.
You talk about conservation of greatness. There was equal distribution of greatness there from Goff's block, the huck, the slide, and then being able to have composure to really have that next throw. I mean, that gets us to double game point, and well fought and earned. So exciting.
You know what? That's the type of little thing that can give your entire Nationals experience a whole new twist. You know, just this chance fate tip of the disc that Walden Nelson checks on, and you saw what I just saw, right? Pony wins on double game point.
Yes.
We just got the update, sorry, from Aaron. Thank you, Aaron Maraca.
Mickle to Kotcher.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah. Clean hold, Mickle Huck to surprise Chris Kotcher. Pony wins on double game point. Boy, they've had a season of tight games now, which is kind of not what you expect from a defending champion. But going back to what I was trying to get at, which is so much enthusiasm. You look down, look how excited these teams. 2 points ago, it was like they were getting chippy, people were getting upset. Kurt was kicking the grass, probably. You know, it was just not super fun. And now all of a sudden, it's like, who cares if you win or lose this particular game? They're already locked into the 2 seed, as far as we could tell. You're just kind of pumped up again. You're like, hey, we can do this.
And both sidelines are really energized and loose too, which I think makes it even more exciting. And you know, the onus, I guess the onus is really on Machine right now, since they will be pulling.
Well, the universe point line for both teams out here on defense. On offense, I saw we're looking at right now. Nikki Spiva, David Shields, Nate Castine, Rowan McDonald, David Bloodgood. Looks like Shields might have replaced Pryor in this central hand-up position. He's on the D-line typically. Walden Nelson trying to get another one.
Great hustle.
Chance Cochran, and there's a man downfield, Sam Canner. He'll pick up and we'll reset with Chance Cochran, guarded by, well, that is an unlikely guard. I don't know if Kirk Gibson lined up across from Chance Cochran, but he's given up like about 7 inches. Up to Spiva. Spiva looking for McDonald. Shooter call. Sam Canner with a flat mark. Christian Johnson up to Troy Holland, dropped. This could be a chance for Machine to win this game. Will it matter in the end? Not so sure. We're going to find out. Gibson with the disc. This is the man you want with the disc. He's been there, done that. Looking for Bansfield. Gets him. Bansfield. Looking to cycle back to Evangelides. Gibson trying to get open. Bansfield will find him. Gibson with the smaller Cochran on him. Can throw over the top at will if he wants, but drops it back. Very conservative. Up to Canner. Canner looking for Nelson. To Weaver through the middle instead. Weaver to Gibson. Could be for the game here. Gibson surveying. Wants Weaver. He's got him. There it is. Chicago Machine has done it. It was pretty sluggish. 2 chances to win the game at the end. All Truck Stop had to do was convert on 1 out of 2 times. They do not. Chicago Machine makes them pay, and they will come away with the win here, 15-14.
Just so incredibly exciting. But it's the patience and the calm, where they had the crazy play the point before. That is just textbook, clean offense to come away with it. Wow.
So our next game tomorrow will be 11:55 Eastern time, a pre-quarters game. Emmy, looking back at this game, what a turn of events. Like, I was basically writing Chicago Machine off. I mean, I was like, this game's over.
You thought the truck was about to win like 2 times.
Yeah, exactly. At least 2 times. So what were your takeaways from this particular 15-14 matchup?
I mean, I think it was just really, really narrow margins, right? I mean, Truck had a couple uncharacteristic errors. Like, that was just a little bit of a bobble. You don't watch it straight in. They had that weird Blady huck that Goff, managed to get the block. So, and they had plenty of good plays, but you have those little things.
I think they just ran out of steam towards the end, maybe.
And then Machine, I mean, I think you really capped it off with what that kind of play, or play of the game, does to a sideline. I mean, that was probably the extra turbo boost that Chicago needed to play a little bit tighter on defense, just a couple more seconds, and then they could convert.
Well, we want to thank you for tuning in. For Emmy Fitzgerald, Aaron Maraca out in the field. We're going to look at that play of the game from Walden Nelson coming up here with a little package from our Fulcrum team. And we'd like to then, again, thank you for VC Ultimate, providing Ultimate's best custom team uniforms and apparel since 1998. Visit VC on the web and VCUltimate.com. And, of course, USAU. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.